I'm Jenni Carlson here with Barry Tramel. We're at the Peak, where this was a night like no other. The Thunder have defeated the Spurs 107-99. Barry, they win the Western Conference Finals. They're going to the NBA Finals. Where do we even start talking about this one?
Well, I wouldn't start in the first half. I'd start in the second half because the Thunder stunk it up early. That first quarter is one of the worst they've played all year. Really weren't guarding anybody, but boy, they got with it in the second half and just dominated and really won going away. I mean, the Spurs were about out of gas by the game's end, and Thunder still looked fresh and sort of a microcosm of the series. I mean, the Spurs started strong, but the Thunder was stronger at the down the stretch and won 4 straight against a team that before that had won 20 straight games.
Just a fantastic end to this series. And Barry, you talk about how the Thunder finished. You got to start talking about defense with that, because early on, Spurs were getting every shot they wanted and making them. The defensive effort really turned around in the second half. What changed from your vantage point?
I think they just started focusing, playing harder, more energy. I think the Thunder sort of was a little bit burdened by what they did on Monday night. They'd become the talk of the NBA and sort of supplanted the Spurs, not as the team of the future, but the team of the present in the Western Conference. And all of a sudden, the future is now, and they go from hoping to win, expecting to win, to everyone's saying this is it. They have arrived, and they come out here, and Tony Parker starts floating in those one-handers, and Manu Ginobili does his magic, and all of a sudden they're down 18 points. So I think they just had to regroup and focus and remember that, hey, you got to stay in front of these guys, you got to guard them, you got to play defense, and they eventually did it, and we saw that the Spurs struggled.
Guy who didn't struggle too much on Wednesday night here was Kevin Durant. 34 points, 14 rebounds, both team highs, both game highs, Barry. Maybe the most amazing stat, though, was 48. He played every minute of this game. Was it his best game as a Thunder player?
I don't know if it's his best, but considering the stage, it probably was, because phenomenal, with the rebounding. He was getting every rebound down the stretch, became one of the league's best defensive rebounders. 34 points, very efficient offense, and really stayed with it. He didn't really get frustrated, even though he had Leonard and Jackson all over him. And let me promise you, Steven Jackson spent the whole night trying to get into people's heads, primarily Kevin Durant's. But Durant was fantastic, and Westbrook was solid throughout, made some turnovers, but really sort of kept the energy going. And then Harden and Fisher made big shots in the fourth quarter, and then it was time to celebrate.
It was time to celebrate, and the Thunder will now play a team yet to be determined in the coming out of the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. Games start here next Tuesday. Thunder has home court advantage. Barry, is there a team that you think they would prefer to see? Is it the Celtics? Is it the Heat?
Well, I mean, I think they'd have an easier time beating the Celtics. The Celtics are the Spurs light. I mean, same kind of team on their last leg, bunch of 30-year-olds, just not as good as San Antonio. So, I mean, I think Wade and LeBron, are always a wild card. So I think the Thunder's favored, but clearly they would have an easier time with Boston.
Last question. Could it possibly be any louder in here for any of the NBA Finals games?
I don't think it's possible for anywhere to be any louder than it was those last 15, 20 seconds. Perkins gets the dunk to seal it, and those last 20 seconds is just a crescendo of nothing but noise. So I don't see any way the NBA Finals are louder.
My ears are still ringing. Yours might be too. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.